Hello and welcome to this video about Mocap Blender. First I give you a quick introduction what this add-on does and what it is used for, and then we will go a little more in-depth on every panel and button, etc. So let's start. The first thing you need to know is that you need motion capture animations. So this add-on does not provide any motion capture animations or target armatures that these motion capture animations will be applied on later. So this is the thing you have to take care for yourself. Also, something to mention before we start is that there is also a full written documentation about Mocap Blender that is available on the Blender market itself. So there you can see there is everything explained fully in depth about every button and every function that this add-on provides. So, okay. With that said, let's start. I first give you a quick introduction what this add-on actually is and how it works. So Mocap Blender is an add-on that gives you the possibilities to first retarget every motion capture animation onto your own rig. So this means that motion capture animations have different orientations for each bone, mostly different orientations as your target armature or the armature that you want to apply your motion capture data on. And this gives very weird results when you, for example, just copy the rotations to every individual bone. So there is something needed that is called retargeting. And this retargeting is provided by this add-on. On top of that, the add-on gives you the possibility to apply multiple motion capture animations to one rig, and then you can blend them together individually, like you can see in this example here. So this is quite nice, as you can see. The thing that makes this add-on individual and more interesting than the other ones is that it has the possibility to add these additive animations without destroying the complete target armature. So you can of course tweak everything, animate everything as you want, and do whatever you want with it. So with that said, let's go and start with a complete new and blank scene. Let's start with the installation. To install Mocap Blender, you first have to download it or get it from Blendermarket. I already put a link in the video description, so if you're interested, take a look at Blendermarket and you can get your add-on from it. So if you installed it, you will be equipped with a zip file that you can unpack to a location of your choice. So to install it, we have to go to the top left to Edit Preferences, and there you have to go to the Add-ons tab here, go to the top right of it and install from disk. There you can search for your Mocap Blender add-on, select it and install from disk, and now it should be available under your add-ons. Where is this add-on located? It's simply located when you press the N key. There you have the MB motion capture Mocap Blender button or category here at the right side of your 3D view. So let's start with the target armature. Mocap Blender asks you to add one target armature that all the motion capture armatures that you may add later will be applied to. So let's first open the target armature panel here. Click on the eyedropper here, and this eyedropper lets you select all possible target armatures that you have in your scene. If you try to select something with this eyedropper here and nothing happens, or you can't select it with this eyedropper, take care that you enable this toggle X-ray checkbox here at the top right of your 3D view. This won't allow Blender to see through objects. So So now we added the target armature. We should be good to go to add our motion capture armatures. I already imported 2 motion capture armatures. As you can see, they are moving, they are jumping and do whatever they should do. Okay, import them. You can import any object or data by going to the top left file option here, go to import and then import anything that you want. I highly recommend mixamo.com if you want to get free motion capture armatures with high quality. These two here are also from Mixamo, so they will provide you a lot of free motion capture armatures that you can download freely for any purpose. Okay, so import them into your scene. And now, before we add them to our add-on, it's very important that they look into the very same direction as your target armature. If you're not sure if they look in the forward direction, you can click on the rest pose and see, okay, yeah, and yeah, the same direction. Perfect. This is mainly because of the auto retargeting. It will only work when you make them look in the same direction. So first we have to select our motion capture armature. Then we can go into the input field and enter a name for it. Let's first call this one here cross jumps. It's just like it's already called. You can call them whatever you want. The only thing that is that you have to make sure is that you don't enter underscores into the name, because the add-on works with all the namespaces of the objects that will be generated and etc. and the constraints. So just simply don't add underscores. You can't do this anyway, so if I try to do this with an underscore, the add-on will give you a quick information that this is not possible. So okay, now when we press the Add Motion Capture Armature button, you will see something happened. First, there is a new collection in your outliner, which is called Master Target Controllers underscore the name of your motion capture armature that you added. And also you can see there are these funky little boxes and these circles inside of these bone starts and ends. So firstly you have the name of your armature. Then you have the possibility to toggle between the pose and the rest position. Then you can hide the so-called pose targets that are these circles here, and also the main targets. And I would highly recommend to just simply disable the main targets and also the rig. So the pose targets, these little circles here, are the only thing that is really important for your character to make the retargeting process happen. You can also delete your motion capture armature. So this does not mean that it will be deleted completely, but all this added data that this add-on has added will be removed. So when I quickly do this, as you can see now, the armature is of course still there, but the master target controllers collection, etc., all this stuff is gone. So, but we want them to appear, so let's add this again. And as you can see now, all the collections are available again. So let's quickly hide the main targets and the armature. We won't need it for now. And let's set this motion capture armature to the rest pose. And now when we click on this little expand button here, we can also increase or decrease the size of these pose targets. So this has also a clue. So if you don't select any pose targets, this slider here will select, or this will scale all the pose target sizes. And when you select some, it will scale only the pose targets that you selected. So a good idea is to first set up a base size for your pose targets. For example, something like this, where you can locate them without any problems. And then for the denser parts, you can select them afterwards and make them a little smaller so that you have a good overview over the pose targets. When you expand the sub menu here, select individual pose targets, for example the hips or the spine, and this will help you to select the pose targets individually when you want to do this. So you can also filter them. For example, if you want to get the head pose targets, you can just enter some names, and that's the names that are inside the pose targets will appear Okay, so we added our post targets, and as you can see, when I go back to my post position, these post targets will follow completely with the bone movements of the armature, the motion capture armature. This is how you add motion capture armatures to the add-on. Perfect. Now we completed this chapter. Let's go to the retarget bones. If you want to add retarget bones to Mocap Blender, you have the possibility to select the bones that will be later used in this add-on. Make sure you only select the ones that you want to include in the retargeting process. In this case, I indeed want to use every bone, so I will select every bone. And then we can click on the Make Retarget Bone button here, and this will tell this add-on, hey, these bones will be used or included in the retargeting process. So you can also choose this Colorize Bones options. This will just tint these bones into a reddish color so that you later will see them or recognize them as retarget bones. This Colorize Bones options will simply override this post bone color with red, and then you can see them better in the viewport. So if there are already post bone colors defined by you, I would keep this unchecked, otherwise they will be overwritten. So let's colorize them in our example to make them visible better. If you still don't choose this option and want to see which bones of your target armature are retarget bones, then you can still click on Select Retarget Bones, and this add-on will select every retarget bone. That's everything this panel here does, so let's continue to the next chapter. Now, this Connect Target Controllers panel is the most important panel in this complete add-on. So if you want to work with your armatures, etc., you will be good to go with the Connect Target Controllers panel. There you can blend your motion capture armatures or create the additive animations or do all the stuff that you want, and this will be in this Connect Target Controllers panel. First, we have to assign a root controller bone. So the root controller bone tells the retargeting add-on which bone will be the one that drives the complete motion of the target armature. So the movement, the location that moves the complete armature. So in my case, it's this center of gravity bone here. I could either just select it and click on this eyedropper. This eyedropper works a little different from the other eyedropper buttons. So you just have to select a bone, then click on this eyedropper, and this bone will be applied. Or you can simply click on this input field and search it manually. Okay, with that said, we click on Apply as Root Bone. And now the add-on knows, okay, this cross jumps motion capture armature has the control center of gravity bone as the root bone, and now we can add a root constraint for this bone. So the root constraint can be added when we apply a post target. So this is why these post targets are so important. You have these little input boxes, also for the other ones, where you can just simply click on this eyedropper button, select your post target, for example this one, and click on Add Root Constraint. And now, as you can see, the root constraint will follow with the motion of your cross jumps motion capture armature, or your motion capture armature in general. So you can, of course, just simply change the influence. So influence 0 will, of course, make this post target here don't have any influence on this root bone, and 1 will be, of course, do the opposite. So, okay, first we added the root bone. Now we add the post controllers. Everything here requires these post targets. So to apply these post targets, make sure that you go under the motion capture armatures panel, click on the toggle post state. So you have the rest position. You can also select the armature and move this a little to the side if you want. This guy here too, just to see a little better where these post targets are. And yeah, let's go again to our Connect Target Controllers panel, collapse the root controllers panel, and let's focus now on the post controllers panel. This panel will allow you to add these post targets to every individual bone, every retarget bone that you added before in the Make Retarget Bones panel. And first, let's take a look at these filtering options here. These options are just to filter these giant list here. As you can see, when I uncheck everything, there's this giant list that will give you every bone that you marked as a retarget bone and where you can add these post targets to. The first one is by selected. I think this is self-explanatory. When you click this, only the retarget bones will be shown or visible in this menu here that are selected. By active shows only bones that are in any way connected to the active motion capture armature. So the active motion capture armature is marked with this blue button here, but we will come to this later. If you add multiple motion capture armatures, you can choose between these different ones and select one active motion capture armature, which will be work for all these additional buttons that are in this add-on. And you can only choose post targets for this individual motion capture armature. By active would also work in this case because there's only one motion capture armature that could be active. So yeah. So with this in mind, I think we can add these post targets now to our bones. So let's bring this motion capture armature here back to the rest position. Select, I think, first the spine. And then let's get started. So because there's also a auto mirroring function, which will help you a lot when you don't want to do this stuff here for every single bone. You can just do this for one side and then click on a button, and this will auto apply every button from the other side. Also, there's a auto search function which will try to add a post target that it thinks will be the most suitable, but this works not every time, but in some cases this is very useful and help you a lot. So let's start. Let's first select our control center of gravity. Let's click on the eyedropper button, select this one here. Now, as you can see, this auto apply retarget bone button will change to this button here, and this button is just a check button that you can use to see if this is the correct post target. So when you click this, now the post target will be selected here. Then, for example, you can also use the auto apply post target button. This will try its best to identify a suitable post target for this. And when you now click on this, as you can see, yeah, this was the right one. You click on this button here. Okay, they are compatible. Let's try this for this. Okay, this was also found correctly. Now let's go to this foot here. Let's see. Okay, now he found the pinky. That's obviously not correct. So let's do this here manually. And as you can see, now this worked. Let's go to the toe, select this one. Oh, let's try the auto search function. And this worked also correct. So it won't work every time, but you can still use it, and this will help you. You can see now this worked, this worked, this worked, this worked also. So I made the experience that, especially for my rigs, my target rigs, the spine works not always. So yeah, no suitable post target found. If the names are too different, then it has problems, of course. There's an inbuilt dictionary with similar names that may work, but not in every case. So the thing that this is hard to automate is because you could name your post target in any target armature bones in any way. So this bone could be named Hizzle Bizzle, and this bone's name, this post target's name could be no idea, chest or something like this, and yeah, there won't be a good way to recognize them. Okay. So let's do this stuff here, simply add them. And also you don't have to do this every time. When you did this once, you can make a preset and then for every upcoming motion capture armatures, you can use this preset. So I will do the rest of these post targets, and when I'm done with this side, I will be back. Okay, now as you can see, I also found a cool way to do this. You can split your screen here and yeah, then check every time if the correct post target is selected. So we did this for one side, for the right side in my case, or for the left side in my case. And as you can see now, the other side is blank, but that's not a big deal. When you edit them all correctly, you can go to the controller list operator here. And these are the operators that are used for the complete list, to modify the complete list of post targets. So you can see when I now click on auto mirror post target entries, let's do this quickly, that you can see that all the post targets on the right side will also be added. And they are all correctly added. You can see now, perfect. Also this side should be completely fine. As you can see, now everything here worked completely fine. So we entered all these post targets, and now there comes the moment of truth. We will bring this here to the post position again to see the result. As you can see in the description, this adds retarget constraints for all bones available in list. So of course, when there's no bone in the list and you click this, nothing will happen. But when you select everything here, then take a look. Let's wait a second. Now it will calculate every orientation of these bones. And now you can see, way, we did it. Everything looks correct. Now let's check if there are some corrections needed. So let's bring these cross jumps armature back to its rest position. As you can see now, the arms look a little odd. And also it's not standing on the ground. So first let's go to the root controllers panel here and bring this here down to, so let's make -20. Let's see if she's standing on the ground. Yeah, should be good. And now when I play this back, you can see she's on the ground here. Perfect. And now we could also bring these here a little up. So let's focus on delta and animatable rotations. You may ask, what are these? When we take a look at these individual post targets and rotate them, as you can see now, when we rotate them, they will affect all of these bones. So when we go to our post controllers and select, for example, the shoulder here, the left shoulder, we can expand our window, and then we can see we now have here these options. Let's hide the constraints panel, which are the base control settings for our post target. So first there's this constraint with an influence button. This influence button will show you the influence between of this post target to this bone. And when we expand this, we can see that there are options for the corresponding constraints. So if this one shows the active constraint, so the constraint that lays on top of all the other ones. And this, when we expand this, this will show all individual constraints that may also are on this bone here from different motion capture armatures. So let's expand this one here. And there you can see we have these three input values for the X, Y, and Z rotation of our post target. So when we switch these values, as you can see, the post target rotates in every different rotations. Let's bring this back to 0. And these rotations are the so-called animatable rotations. So as you can see, when I rotate these rotations and press Alt and R, it will snap back to its original position. But these pose targets are rotated through the auto retargeting function. So the add-on added additive rotations to the base rotations of this pose target, of this empty here. So, and these additive rotations won't change when you reset the rotation of this pose target. So when you want to see this additive rotations, then you can click on this button here, and this will show you the delta rotations. Now I will give you a quick introduction to delta rotations. These are very important when you want to understand this add-on. So let's say you have a cube and this cube has rotation values of 0, 0, 0, as you can see here in the outliner, in the properties panel. And when you now go to your other properties here at the right side and go to transform, there you will see a menu that's called delta transform. And these delta transformations will be additive rotations that will be on top of your object, but that will be not affected when you, for example, animate something. So let's change, for example, these delta rotations. And when I change these delta rotations, you will notice that these normal rotations here won't be affected. So when I rotate this object here, the normal rotations will have some values here. And when I press Alt and R and reset the rotations, it will go back to its normal values, but it will keep the delta rotations. And this is very important because the delta rotations will contain the retargeting information. When I go to my shoulder again here and take a look on the delta rotations, there you can see that the add-on automatically calculated minus 178 degrees difference for this shoulder. And normally the rotation would look something like this when you try to do this. And this is completely a mess. And now this add-on has calculated this. But you can also change these delta rotations to your needs to make, for example, the arm a little upper, or rotate this arm a little to the top, or perhaps a little back, etc. to fine-tune your delta rotations. So let's make 20, for example. And if you are satisfied with this, you can copy these values, select the opposite bone, and go to this go to his delta rotations and mirror paste it. So it will mirror paste this function. You can also just paste it, but of course this mirror paste will mirror these values to the opposite side. Okay, I hope you understood this well. So you can also select multiple bones, for example, all the legs, expand here everything with this button here at the top, and everything again with this button, and click on this button to show all the delta rotations for these pose targets that belong to these bones here. When I want to rotate this and reset the rotation, they will be jumped back to the retargeted position. This is very, very useful if you later want to animate these pose targets, for example, to animate your motion capture data. And now when we play this back, the shoulders should be corrected. Now, when we corrected all the values for our target armature, we can create a so-called preset. We first have to expand this preset panel here, and there you can enter a preset for this motion capture armature type. So as I previously said, most motion capture armatures will come from one creator. And this is very useful for us because we can save our motion capture target armatures bone names and also their corresponding bone names for a preset. And it will take the data from the active motion capture and the pose target that is applied to this bone that belongs to the active motion capture armature. So make sure you selected the active motion capture armature if you have multiple ones. Enter a name. So let's call this Mixamo rigs. So I know every time I apply this preset, it will apply the bone names for the Mixamo rigs. And then we can click on the Add Preset to Target Armature button. And now, as you can see, you have here a new custom preset. And this preset can be used for all upcoming Mixamo rig armatures that you will create with this add-on. And apply the data, the pose targets, and the delta rotation values to the new pose targets and to the new motion capture armatures pose targets. Now we created this preset. We have several options for this preset here. You can of course apply this preset to upcoming motion capture armatures we will create, and you can also apply the deltas from these motion capture armatures. From this preset, you can update the preset data. For example, if you made some corrections to the deltas again once you created this preset, you can click on Update Preset Data and it will save these preset delta rotations to the preset again. And you can also, of course, remove the preset. This will simply delete it, obviously. So, but we don't want to delete it, we want to edit. And now it's time to create another motion capture armature. I downloaded another one from mixamo.com. It's this Ninja motion capture armature here. And we will do the same thing we did before. We will call this Ninja. Click on Add Motion Capture Armature. Now we have this Ninja motion capture armature here. Let's simply deselect everything else and make the pose targets a little bigger. Something like this. Let's hide another armature here. Select the hands and make them a little smaller so we can see them better. And as you can see now, this works completely fine. So let's do this again. We now collapse our motion capture armatures panel, go to our connect target controllers panel. And now, as you can see, we can select our Ninja motion capture armature by clicking on this active motion capture armature button here. Now our cross jumps is the active one. We want the Ninja to be the active one because this preset applies, of course, all the pose targets to the active armature that is available for now. As you can see now, when we go to the pose controllers panel and select everything, where are these input fields? There are only the constraint data for our previously created cross jumps motion capture armature. But if you want to add new pose targets to our target armature, we have to click on the by active constraints filter type. But because this will show us all the pose targets for the now active armature, motion capture armature. When I select on cross jumps, you can see it will change to this view that we have already seen. And when we click on Ninja, it will show us all the new input fields. So as you can see, they are already filled with data, but we cannot add this data because when I click on these input fields, they will show me only the pose targets for the active motion capture armature. In other words, the Ninja motion capture armature. So, but we don't have to do this stuff here again. We can just simply go to our presets, click on Apply Preset, and as you can see, all the other pose target names will be added automatically. And with that done, we can also click on the controller list operator, click on Batch Add Constraints. And as if by magic, now we have a new motion capture armature added to our target armature. And now when we go to our motion capture armatures panel, click on the toggle pose state. As you can see, the shoulders are a little off again. Now we can click on apply deltas from preset, and now it will bring us, give us the same deltas we added recently to our cross jumps motion capture armature. So, and now everything works completely fine. Perfect. Now the fun begins. We can blend between these motion capture armatures. Let's focus on the connect target controllers panel now, and let's start to blend something together. You can see there's some kind of stack order. So when you add more than one motion capture armature, you will see these arrows here at the right side, and this will allow you to create or change some kind of stack order here. The one that is below will be the one that will be visible, and all the underlying ones will be beneath them. So it's simply like the modifier stack or the constraint stack. Everything underlaying will be on top. But the cool thing is we can now select, for example, these bones here and remove the ninja influence from it. And now on the lower body, the influence for the selecting bones of all these constraints have been reduced to 0. And now you can see these motion capture armatures are blended together. And this is really cool because you can, of course, select the arms. And now only these bones here will be affected by the cross jumps, and the other ones will be affected by the ninja motion capture armature. Yeah, with that said, we can of course also keyframe this data. But first I want to show you something about these influence sliders here. These influence sliders will be updated every time you select a bone. As you can see, when I select this bone here, it will show you a sum of all the constraints influences. So when I select this one, you can see the ninja influence constraint of this bone is 1 and the ninja influence of this bone is 0. So when I select both of them, you will see the mid value of these two. Also, a cool thing is when you, of course, change the stack order, you will have, of course, a complete new hierarchy. So keep this in mind. This is very important. So when you select everything and change the influence to 1, you can see now ninja is always already the top of the hierarchy. You can, of course, also keyframe this stuff. So, for example, let's select these bones here, change them to 0. And go to frame 20, for example. And now when you click on this keyframe all active button, all influences of these selected bones that are influenced by this ninja motion capture will be keyframed. So let's keyframe them all. Go to this frame here and set them back to 0. Oh, let's make when she lands. This will be a little more impressive, I think. And now, as you can see, whoop, whoop. And now, whoop, whoop. Yeah, you can, of course, improve this. You can, for example, first let's first choose this one here. So let's add a keyframe here. And this looks much better. And also for this bone here, I think this could be a little later. So, but this should not be an animation tutorial. This is for the combination when you select multiple ones, but on the bottom here you can add a keyframe for every individual bone that you can select. And yeah, but you can add as many motion capture armatures as you want, and of course also animate them as you want. But now let's focus on some other buttons. So let's take a closer look on the controller list operator. As you can see, there are also some other buttons beside the auto mirror post target entries and the batch add constraints button, there are quite a lot, to be honest, but they are not that complicated. The batch remove constraints button will remove every constraint from your target armature's bones. Let's try this. Click on batch remove constraints. And as you can see now, all the constraints are gone. You can also control Z everything, and it will be back again. So yeah. So this worked. Batch remove constraints will delete all the constraints for every bone. Blanket again. Then we have the auto retarget function. This will auto retarget the bones automatically. When you uncheck this, it will give you a blank constraint where you can do your retarget by yourself. I would not recommend this, but if you want to do this, you can of course do this. Perfect. So let's take a look at the powerful Adjust Pose Target button. The Adjust Pose Target button you will find on every, let's collapse all the other stuff here that may distract you from this awesome button here. As you can see, I really like it. This button here is a so-called modal operator. And for example, we now have the Ninja active. And this is also the one that we will work with, not the cross jumps, the Ninja. And when we click on Adjust Pose Target, as you can see, now I can rotate the pose target on the view plane without having to select it here in the 3D viewport. You can click this and rotate it in the viewport. You can also click on X, which will change the tilt. So X will just tilt it, and when you click X again, it will rotate it on the other axis. So you can, with just pressing X, rotate it in any direction, and this will affect the values for the animatable rotations. So when you click on the right mouse button, it will reset its position to the position that were there before you clicked on this button. When you click the left mouse button, it applies this position. And also, yeah, you can do the fanciest stuff with it. It's very, very useful. As you can see, when I click on this one, moving there to this position, and it works. Oh, let's bring this arm here to this side, and yeah, you can do whatever you want with this. This will give you very cool results, in my opinion. So let's. Yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. So also a good thing is when you mess your rotations completely up, you can click on this button, press the space bar. You will see a little description here at the bottom. We'll press the space bar and every rotation will be resetted. From the bone on up the hierarchy. So as you can see, when I select this bone, rotate it in a different direction, and this bone here, and this bone, this foot bone here. Let's do something like this. And when I select this bone and click on this button and press the space bar, it will reset also the position of this pose target from this bone here. So let's do this. As you can see, pose will be resetted. And when I select this bone, it will reset the complete hierarchy. Well, let's take a look for all upcoming bones or upcoming pose targets belonging to these bones. So this is a very, very cool thing. Oh, I see we didn't have applied the deltas from this preset. So yeah, it's much better. So yeah, as you can see, this button is a complete game changer. You can change also some other things here. So for example, you can keyframe your stuff or all the hierarchy. So let's go to this frame, select this bone here. Don't move your mouse and press the I key. This will keyframe all these post targets here. And when we go to the frame 30, for example, click on this and, for example, bring this here to this direction. Press I again. It will keyframe all the post targets. So you can see you can also here show you the previous positions, because of course there won't be any keyframes shown because they are laying on the post targets and not on the bones. When I select this, oh, of course it's the ninja one. When I select the ninja, then there should be keyframes, and let's select this bone. And these keyframes will be visible when you click on these buttons here. So you can also delete this keyframe when you go to the frame 30. Click on the Adjust Post Target, press Alt and I, and now all the keyframes are removed. And yeah, so let's just try a more useful case. So let's press this again. Alt I, delete the keyframe. And now I can show you the controller list operator, batch reset rotation. Oh, let's go. Delete or clear all keyframes button. So let's create some unnecessary keyframes. Select a keyframe here. Bring this to this point. Select keyframe. Go to this frame and bring this arm forwards, select the keyframe. Now there are many keyframes for all these post targets here. So there are keyframes, there are keyframes, there are keyframes. And all these post targets here have keyframes on them. You can simply select the hierarchy, click on clear all keyframes, and from every selected post target that's belonging to these bones from the active motion capture armature, they will be deleted. Of course, the position will be still there, so that we applied. So when you click on this button here and click on this and press the spacebar, you have the normal rotation again. Okay, so yeah, I think we will be close to the end of this tutorial. I will quickly show you some useful cases. For example, you can see the this motion, the head turns a little too far. You can go to the spot where before the turn the head turns. Let's click on this adjust post target button, press I, go to frame 35. Now let's click on this button, rotate this head a little to the side, perhaps something like this. Press keyframe, and as you can see, now it's corrected. Of course, you have to take care or respect the rotations from the motion capture itself. So let's take a look. There's the button. Let's click on auto. Go here. First select keyframe there. Go to this and delete the keyframes. And this looks much better. And you can, of course, let's go to this position. Oops. Select the arm here. Create keyframes. Go to this position and bring the arm a little forwards or wherever you want it to be. on I. Now, as you can see, the motion capture armature is been updated, and it looks pretty good. Yeah, perfect. Now let's select these guys here. Change the ninja value to 0. Also these ones to 0. And as you can see, you can do, I think, a lot of stuff with this add-on, have a lot of fun. And yeah, but now I just want to show you one little clue for the motion capture Mocap Blender add-on. And this is the batch edit post target rotations button, batch rotation, add to deltas. So let's select everything and clear all keyframes we created and batch reset rotation. Now you can see everything is back to its position, its base position. So yeah, if you want to change the deltas, you can of course also use this auto retarget adjust post target button. So for example, if you want to change the deltas, let's see. As you can see, the body here is a little turned, lean forwards. You can select your bone from the hierarchy, click it, rotate it a little forwards. Do this with these arms, of course, also. And now you can select everything and make this the basic delta rotation, basic delta position. So you can select everything, click on batch add rotation to deltas, and now the additive rotations that we made will be added to the deltas. So this is the new base position for our Ninja motion capture armature. So let's take a quick look, and now you can see it looks much better. So this is very useful, I think, and yeah, can so quickly add some additive rotations to the deltas if you want to. And yeah, let's say you're satisfied with this animation here. It looks a little weird, but you can go to bake animation and finally choose the start and end frame. So in our case, it's the frame 62. Let's go to frame 62. Steps will be the resolution of your motion capture armature you want to generate. Click on delete constraints. This is very important because otherwise you will have double transformations. I will show you this in a second. Click on bake, and now your target armature will be baked, and now there aren't any constraints. And you can do the circle again, use this as a motion capture armature for a new target armature, and do whatever your imagination tells you. If you don't click on the delete constraints button, this will look something like this. I think this is not what you wanted, but this is just because of the there will be additive animations. So there are keyframes now that will be generated, and on top of these keyframes are the rotations of the retargeting post targets. So yeah, everything is messed up. So I would highly recommend you to keep this checked. Steps are on every nth step will be a keyframe. So let's do 3. Cool little trick there was the problem. Cool little trick I discovered was also you can just select. As you can see, it's now a little not that clear, but a cool little thing is you can select every keyframe, press N and press T in the timeline and click on constant, and as you can see now you have this kind of stepped animation. This looks also quite interesting. Or linear will give you also some kind of cool result. So I think this is everything I wanted to show you regarding this add-on. And with this, yeah, I thank you very much for your attention. Hope you are interested in this add-on and hope you leave some nice reviews, and maybe you have some cool ideas which what I can implement in this add-on. Maybe you have some critique or something else. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm looking forward for them, and can't wait to see what you will create with it. So I hope I will see you in my upcoming videos or tutorials.